Well, here we are. Thank you for joining me. My name is Russell Mays. This, of course, is Air America. A lot, again, has been happening this week of October. We are winding down the year. Really, it's October already. Can you imagine this, people? It's October. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. There has been so much going on in the news that I don't know if I can fit it all in or not, but we're going to give it a shot. There's no doubt about it. We have to give it a whirl. So much BS. It makes you want your head to explode. Oh my God, come on. I guess the biggest one for me right now, I mean, we've got to go over the impeachment, the rallies. There was just a shooting down in Fort Worth I want to hit upon, which drives me nuts also. Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Adam Schiff. Oh, these people have just gone absolutely delusional. That's all I can say is delusional. If you have a good case, present it. I don't care what it is. If you believe in one side or another side, whatever the argument may be, whatever the subject may be, present your case, discuss it, debate it, but don't yell people down and not have them the right to present their side of the argument. I guess when it comes to impeachment, I guess I am delusional, to be honest with you, because my question is how long will they keep pounding or beating this dead horse? The Democrats have been trying this before the inauguration. They wanted to impeach him when he won the primary. But they said it best. And one thing that is definitely for sure about this whole impeachment BS, and it comes from Saul Alinsky's book and Rules for Radicals. No matter how wrong you are, no matter how big the lie you tell, you never reverse yourself, ever. Because the moment you reverse yourself, your whole house of cards comes crashing down. So no matter how big the lie they tell, they can never, ever stop. No matter if it destroys the country, which they're trying to do, they will never admit they were wrong or even trying to destroy or change the world into a communist or socialist party group. The House has many things to do right now. A lot of them. There's a lot of bills to be passed that will actually be able to help and keep America great. But they won't even touch that. All they're worried about now is this phone call for impeachment. They won't even use procedures to process the impeachment of Trump. That right there is a real violation of Donald Trump's rights. They're holding backdoor interviews. They won't take a vote to do an impeachment investigation, is what they should do if that's what they're calling it, because that gives, if they ever took the vote, and said, yes, let's do this, the Republicans will have the right to interview everybody they're bringing in, but they're not giving them that right. They will also have the right to subpoena everybody else, but they don't want that either. It is just a sheer fact that they want him out. So this got me to thinking, if they go ahead and impeach Donald Trump, and they make their case saying that he rigged the election, would that make Vice President Pence ineligible to take the office? And would that make Hillary Clinton president? What is their end goal here? If they get him out, who's going to take over? I said last week that if he was out, Pence takes presidency, pardons Trump, makes him vice president, resigns as president, Trump becomes president, hires Pence back as vice president. I know that's a far-fetched scenario, but it's possible. It's like what's going on in the news today. The rally that Trump had in Minnesota, what a great rally that was. That was absolutely wonderful. He had a lot of things. The one statement that he said was Joe Biden's only accomplishment was kissing Obama's ass. Absolutely wonderful. I loved it. And everyone goes, no president ever talks like that. Yes, you're right. And that's why Donald Trump is president. Because every other president we've had since then, in the modern time, if you will, are so afraid of their own shadow to do anything. Let's take Syria, for instance. I'm not going to go off on that tangent yet. That's one of the issues I want to get into. But what the news has been doing, they've been covering his rallies and stuff. They went outside, and Fox News did this. This is the other thing. Fox News did it. They went outside and had the man in the streets. And he was looking for the riots. I watched. I saw what they were covering. They had the protesters out there. And, of course, we hate Trump. We hate Trump. I did not see one American flag. I did see a few China communist flags. I did see a lot of Antifa flags. Anarchist people. So, the news is going, finding the trouble. And the news people out in the streets were egging these people on to fight, to do something so they'll have news to cover. So, they built a campfire. That's what I call it. A campfire. And of course, they were burning some mega hats and some signs and stuff. And everybody was standing around the campfire. And the reason why a campfire, this fire was something you build when you're out hiking. It wasn't a burning car or any buildings falling down or windows smashing, none of that. It was a campfire. And they're all standing around with their cell phone video cameras taking pictures of this and tweeting it or doing whatever they're doing with it just to say, hey, look what's going on. We're in the middle of the action. Antifa, these assholes couldn't get a foothold. Thank goodness. They tried. You could tell where they were trying. And I don't know why the police allow this to go on. But I could tell right off the bat, watching the coverage, who were the instigators and how many people were out there just to see what was happening. There was 1,000 bystanders with their hands in their pockets, and you probably had 100 people trying to do something, and they weren't getting anywhere. So, now one of the things I do have to admit, kudos to the city for having the rally where it was. There's a sky bridge that pretty much separated the assholes on the ground from the Trump supporters leaving the thing. They didn't want them to mix it up. And I think there was just like one segment in the news where they blocked, 5 people blocked the entrance of one car. Like, come on, people. I mean, get a life. So, moving on about what Trump's doing in Syria and Turkey. He's pulled our troops out, and everybody, every media outlet, every congressperson, well, not all of them, a few of them are on Trump's side about pulling these people out. Every Democrat and leftist are screaming to high heaven. Oh, they're leaving the Kurds to die. We're leaving all these people. We only had like 1,000 troops there. So you're trying to tell me, which I believe 1,000 of our soldiers can hold the entire Turkish nation back from invading. That means we're a pretty damn good military. There's no doubt about it. But Trump is right. These people have been fighting over there for hundreds and 1,000 years. They've been at each other's throats ever since the beginning of man. And they will constantly be fighting. People forget that whole area used to be under Russia. Afghanistan, Syria, Turkey, Iran, Iraq, all of that was being fought heavily by support of the Russians. They got tired and pulled out. So now it was our turn. We got pulled into it, and we went into Afghanistan because of the 9/11, which I thought was the stupidest thing in the world, because there's nothing in Afghanistan. They don't have the technology to go there. So they just moved a wartime situation into a desert area to fight so that not a lot of people get killed or whatever. I don't know. So we pulled out of Syria what troops we had, and if you look at the news, it's the same 5 trucks with American flag waving as it's leaving away from the camera, saying we're leaving. The Kurds have been there for a long time. Kurds have fought against us. They fought with us. We supplied them. They hated us. Same thing with Turkey, the Afghanis, all of them. The Taliban, they used to fight with us. Then they fought against us. They've been doing this forever. Pull our troops out. Now, many of you are going to think that I'm a morbid son of a bitch. And I guess I'm going to go there. For the simple fact is, if you see the way World War II and World War I were fought, that's how you fight a war, get out of the war, end the war. You cannot fight a war civilly. Civilly, is that a word? What I'm talking about is if you're going in to fight an enemy that hides in buildings and runs around and high, you demolish everything. Scorched earth. That's what we did in Europe. It was scorched earth. We went in, we cleared everything out. We did the best to save the civilians. We did the best to make sure the good people, the innocent, were protected. But we don't do that now. I have never seen a war in my entire life that when a military drone goes in and blows something up, or a missile goes in and blows something up, we always miss the target. We hit a school, we hit a hospital, all the children that might have died. With all this modern technology, how can we do that? How can we miss? The simple fact is they will not allow our military to fight a war like it's supposed to be fought. They also scare the troops so bad that anytime they use their weapons, they're afraid they're going to be taken into court and court-martialed and thrown in jail for a murder during a war. That never happened in World War II. Granted, there was a few cases when the war was over that came about, and they investigated, prosecuted, and that kind of stuff. That's the way it should be done. But during the battle, you take somebody out of the battle and say, you did that all wrong. That's bad for you. No. If they're worried about the Kurds not being protected and the Turks coming in, bomb the thing to hell. Boom. Flatten it. Oh, but you can't do that. You've got to protect the people. All right? Protect the people. Have them go in first. Don't have our troops standing there in front protecting these people that won't even protect themselves. It's mind-blowing how these 50-year politicians continually spinning the same crap over and over and over again, and the American people do not do anything about it. I personally think come next November, during the election, I think they should clean everybody out. All the Democrats and all the Republicans, put all new people in there right off the bat. Clear the house out. It's the only way to do it. I don't want to hear about the homeless in LA living on the streets, pooping all over the place with drug needles and stuff. And I don't want to hear about people not having any electricity because the PG&E is afraid that the wind's going to start a fire. I don't want to hear all that anymore. The politicians aren't going to fix it, then shut up. And if you keep re-electing those same people into office, you made your bed, sleep in it. Period. It's your fault. You voted them in. You keep on voting them in. What are you getting from these people? Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And it gets even worse. I'll tell you how bad it's getting. Okay. I guess everybody's hearing on this news report the woman that was shot and killed by the Fort Worth police officer. Okay. Happened, I believe it was like 2:30 in the morning. Okay. The news is reporting this. a complaint because the neighbor called in, said the door was open about 2:30 in the morning. Right off the bat, the news report came out and said, white police officer shoots black woman in her home. What kind of news reporting is that? This is what I'm talking about how the media is pushing this race issue. And what I'm talking about is you never hear about a black on white shooting. You never hear about black on black shooting. You never hear about white on white shooting. But if it's black or white on black shooting, it's all over the news and it gets presented that way. Now let's dig into the facts. They're editing and manipulating this whole story to benefit their own news media for ratings or whatever. The neighbor, his name was James Smith. Matter of fact, Anton, how do you pronounce the lady's name that got shot? Anna Jefferson was the lady that was shot in her home. But James Smith was the one that called police at 2:30 in the morning saying that Mrs. Jefferson's door was open, that he was afraid something was wrong. The police officer got there, saw that the door was open. His body cam shows this. His body cam had like 2-3 minutes of the officer investigating, going around checking, sees someone in the house, sees the door open. He calls out, "Show me your hands." If your door is open to your house at 2:30 in the morning and there's somebody outside yelling outside at you and you're awake and you're in the window and you're not obeying the officer or going up the window saying, "Who's out there? What's going on? What can I do for you?" What is that all about? How come people aren't asking this question? Why did not that woman answer him? Why did not he go in there and say, "Oh man, the stereo is really loud"? Nothing was said the stereo was really loud. Nothing said she had a hearing aid, couldn't hear. Nothing said that she might have been distracted by something. None of that was said. From what I'm understanding and from what I'm trying to gather from the body cam, shows her standing there not obeying the officer. So, not knowing what she was doing, he takes one shot and of course she gets killed. Why is it like this? Why is this a news story? Not because a white police officer kills a black woman. That's what they're using as a story. Not because an innocent citizen is killed by an officer trying to protect her home. Next question is why is the neighbor, James Smith, awake at 2:30 in the morning? Why is Mrs. Jefferson awake at 2:30 in the morning? You can't tell me that officer's car didn't pop up with its lights flashing. He didn't roll up sneaking into the place. I'm telling you right now, in my neighborhood, if a police officer is around the corner, you know it. If their lights, they are made to be noticed in presence. Nobody asks these questions. All they see is that one little part that they can use in the news. Why is the press doing this? Why do they present this? They want to cause strife within our communities. We never had such diversity or diversity between people. And I don't mean just black on black, white on black, Asian, yellow, Native American, whatever. Since the Obama administration, our country was well on its way to becoming very unified until he got in. And every time there was a white person shooting a black person, he was all over it. Let's have a beer. This is wrong. He make a note of it. But the press didn't say anything about it because he was on the lefty. He was presenting or building on his agenda, if you will. Drives me nuts. And people are buying into this all the time. Okay, moving right along. What else are we going to get into here? I got to talk about the Hunter Biden thing. I know this is such a fallacy that Trump is trying to be impeached over a conversation with the Ukraine president about what Vice President Joe Biden did and his son, Hunter Biden. And they make it a big issue in the press or whatever. My point of view, that goes on all the time. Every politician in our Congress and Senate has utilized their position to benefit somebody else within their family. So the difference being is Hunter Biden got into a position to do nothing but, in my opinion, buy the vice presidency with cash to them. Tons of cash. Now, Trump also says to China, why don't you investigate Hunter Biden and what he was doing in China? And not much happened, but Hunter, just now, this is what the statement says, the son of former Vice President Joe Biden and a figure at the heart of President Donald Trump's effort to have Ukraine investigate the former vice president, will step down from the board of the Chinese private equity company he has invested in later this month. His lawyers announced in a statement on Sunday. That was today. So he's stepping down. If he did nothing wrong, if everything he was doing was on the up and up, why is he stepping down? It goes right along the same lines as China is controlling many of our politicians now, many of our businesses. It's what happened with the NBA. The NBA and Kerr, I guess his last name is backing China and trashing the United States. And that's because of the billions of dollars they're putting into advertising, NBA, given to all these people for basketball. I mean, let's face it, Nike and Adidas and the rest of them are some of the major supporters of sports. And China is where they make all those products. And at the pure onset of communism and efforts to control its people, they are basically slave wages that they're doing to make these products that you and I and all the NBA and the sporting people purchase and advertise. But yet nobody talks about that. They don't talk about Nike is supporting the evils that the communist country are doing. Look what happens when that one guy got fired from, I think it was from Amazon or Google. I have to dig that one up too, where they tweeted that Taiwan and China got mad about that, had him fired because they don't want Taiwan as the name anymore. Or the other people that were, I think, that started all this NBA thing was Hong Kong, where they were supporting Hong Kong's people for protesting. Let's take a difference between a serious protest and what these idiots did at the Trump rally. You see those people protesting in Hong Kong? People are being shot there and killed for protesting what they believe. And what they know is if China grabs their hooks into Hong Kong, even though it's underneath the China rule, Hong Kong will no longer be, how do you want to say, the center of many of the products and trades in the world. Because it'll be all under the control of China. Simple as that. All the businesses that are there in China are there at the whim of China. They don't make a dollar unless it all goes through the government down there. And people love this. As long as these corporations are making their money, I understand completely about making money. But when you get caught dealing with a country that abuses its people that badly and nothing is said, and then you turn around and you complain about Trump putting a border wall up on our southern border and calling that racist and evil and cages and people, all of you that think Trump is bad by putting up that wall can kiss my ass. Simple as that. If you're going to back the China government and the NBA for all the atrocities they use against their own people, and not say a word about it, but turn around and complain to your newspaper about the cages, if you will, and they're not cages. That's where people go to be waiting for their turn in line. They're not in jail. Only the bad ones are, but then again, they'll release them into a sanctuary city and they'll go out and kill somebody. And that's okay, though. All I'm saying, people, is our country is on the verge of becoming truly free again, or truly dictatorship. And it's up to us. If you rely on the millennials that are being fed this in colleges about how bad this country is, and they have no idea what they're in for if that ever takes hold. It's up to us to keep America great. Donald Trump knows this. He knows that this is a country that was built by the people, for the people. And our government works for us. And that doesn't mean we vote you in and then you can do whatever you want to. It means that we tell you what we want and you better do it, and this impeachment crap better stop. Or I hope to God that Attorney General Barr rakes all of them over the coals, pulls it all out and lays it on the table, expose all this stuff, because we need it. We need a house cleaning badly. Anyway, that's my rant for today, I guess. We're into Halloween. Don't forget to think about the kids coming to your door, knocking on them. Be nice to them. Don't scare them too much. Don't give them too much candy, but I already got tons of candy for all that stuff anyway. Anyway, thank you very much. I do enjoy your comments. Leave me comments if you have anything. Leave me on Twitter also. My Twitter is WRITER7877 Twitter, and I'll be posting over there too. I have a pretty good following over there. They tell me what they think. I like to hear what you think. Let me know. My name is Russell Mays, coming from Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you much, people. Take care now. Bye-bye.